When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that feels the need to do speed.
Oh, don't sniff that.
Sniff it up.
Crush it up and put it up your nose.
Yep, nose blast that shit.
Yeah. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Katz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, we're talking about sniffies.
Great. Oh, yeah, we're talking about sniffies.
We're going to talk about sniffies.
Yeah.
You know them, you love them.
Yep, and how badly I crushed you on the Patreon poll. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I got worked.
Yeah. With an E.
And a K or a Q?
I think a Q.
Okay.
I think you got worked.
Great. The thing, if it's a K, then it kind of looks like wrecked also.
Yeah. Oh, well,
so
you did get wrecked.
I did
and
get
worked and demolished.
Actually, we should start spelling wrecked. WRQD.
My brain stopped doing math right then.
Kyle, I know. I said this to you before we started the show, and I went on keto last week, and it makes my ADHD meds stop working. Yeah. Until the keto flu is over, I just cannot be tamed.
I have said before, I like it when your meds stop working for the purpose of it makes for an entertaining podcast.
Great. Excellent.
You as a friend, maybe not necessarily my ideal state of your being, but as a podcast host, I kind of like it.
Great.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Feedback corrections.
Yeah.
I have one.
Do it.
Great. Episode 420, Two-Spirit. When we talked to Rebecca Nagel, I was asking about gender markers on tribal identification.
Yeah.
And A.E. Coleman wrote in on Patreon, because you can see and interact with our episodes on Patreon also. Basically, you can interact with us in a bajillion different ways.
There's so many ways to interact with us. We're all over your life, and you can't stop it.
But A.E. Coleman wrote, as of 2010, there were no gender markers on tribal ID for the Choctaws. I updated my tribal ID during transition, and the only thing I had to change was my name. Now, thanks, A.E. It might be tribe to tribe. I haven't looked into it, but it might, Native folks are not a monolith. There's like a bajillion different tribes, and they all have their own rules and regulations and laws and whatnot. So, but at least in this case, Choctaws, at least as far back as 2010, had no gender marker on their ID at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very different than our, that seems to be a common thing that trans people have to go through when they update their gender, is to update it on all their legal documents, which is a pain in the ass and sometimes prevents them from getting a job or applying to stuff because it doesn't match.
Yep.
Frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
guess that's it.
Okay.
And now the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Kyle.
Yeah, Mike.
I try really hard to find happy news stories.
Has that been proven difficult?
It has been very difficult.
Oh, no.
2025, it's rough.
Yeah.
This is where your Everything's Bad song comes in.
Mm-hmm. Everything's bad and you should feel bad today.
Yeah. News the first.
Mm-hmm.
So Meta.
Yep, I knew this story was coming.
Meta has changed their policies so that they will no longer do fact checking. And there was an internal memo that was leaked that revealed that the new plan for their company's sites, which include Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, so that they're going to be allowed to post anti-LGBTQ posts in ways that users were not able to post before. They were in violation. So basically, it's not going to be in violation anymore to say things like queer people are mentally ill, denying the existence of transgender people like dickbag fuckface asshole J.K. Rowling has been lately. Mm-hmm. Posts like a trans person isn't a he or a she, it's an it was specifically mentioned in this leaked document as something that would be acceptable now under the new policy. There's no such thing as trans children. and women will be allowed to be referred to as property.
Jesus Christ.
As non-violating under the new policies. Now, on top of that, Meta has also announced that they're completely axing their DEI team.
Yikes.
The company's chief diversity officer, Maxine Williams, will enter a new role focused on, quote, accessibility and engagement. The Human Resources VP, Janelle Gale, said, quote, the legal and policy landscape surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the United States is changing. The Supreme Court of the United States has recently made decisions signaling a shift in how courts will approach DEI. The term DEI has also become charged, in part because it is understood by some as a practice that suggests preferential treatment of some groups over others.
Jesus.
DEI is the problem?
And people thinking that, like, oh, black people have it easier because we give them so many benefits. Like, you don't understand the landscape by, like, trying to counteract the prejudice that different minority groups face. That doesn't give them any, like, that's not a bias towards them. That's trying to correct an imbalance.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just if you don't you just don't understand what minority groups have to go through, especially black people have to go through in this country. Like, you're just totally blind to their experience.
Ask yourself, if you're listening to this, you probably aren't the type of person that needs to be asking yourself this, but ask yourself if your behavior suggests that you hate being called racist more than you hate racism.
Yeah.
Because white people have privilege in this country. To be in denial of that is racist. And I think that a lot of this just comes from white people want to believe that racism isn't real, so they don't have to confront the fact that they are racist.
Yeah.
Hate racism, everybody.
Yeah.
Even if that means admitting, yeah, I'm a white person, I have some racism going on.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, okay, jumping back to some of their changes in policy, one of the things that I feel like we're not talking about enough is, like, they had policies against some of these things before that now they're removing, but how effective have those policies been? Is this going to really change that much? Because I feel like you were allowed to get away with some pretty homophobic shit even before, when these policies were there.
We're going to find out, because if you'll pardon the phrase, they might have been a finger in the dike. And you know the phrase, right?
No.
Oh, a dike is like a dam that holds water back, and
right.
And if it starts leaking and you put a finger in it, then it sort of stops the leak, sort of.
Right.
But then, like, if you take your finger out, everything gets wet. It's good about lesbians now.
There's no way to interpret that other than it's a lesbian.
But if we remove the finger in the dike might just completely burst, right?
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
And so I think, although the internet is a horrible hellscape of human horse shit, Band-Aids are still Band-Aids and might have been preventing.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
The GLAAD social media report that they put out gave everyone failing grades.
Yeah.
Every social media platform a failing grade.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not that things have been great on social media for trans people until now.
Right.
But you're right. But things might get worse.
I think everything's going to get worse before it gets better, Kyle.
Yeah.
Everything's bad, and you should feel bad. And so,
yeah,
added to the nominees for the 2025 Dickbag Fuckface Asshole Award, Mark Zuckerberg. Put him on the list, Derek.
Wow, he's a strong contender, early strong contender. I feel like for this award.
Yep, absolutely. Okay,
he's also just a goofball. Like, just as a human person, he's just goofy.
I love the android Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. I want him to fuck me, not Brent Spiner, but, like, just the idea. We've gone over this before. And I love/hate/love all of the memes comparing Mark Zuckerberg to Data the android. They are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I also love all of the petty memes people are posting, like, to Facebook, being like, if you're not going to fact check shit, here's a post. Mark Zuckerberg's a pedophile and got caught with cocaine coming out of his tits or something.
Yeah.
Like,
old tit coat. The old tit coat controversy.
Oh, God. Kyle.
Should we be on Facebook and Instagram?
Good question. I mean, we shouldn't be anywhere, apparently.
Yeah, that's the problem. And anytime we face this conundrum, a social media platform or a media platform does something shitty towards LGBT people, we face the problem of our individual action is not going to fix anything. No one gives a shit. We're not big enough that anyone gives a shit if we go off Facebook.
Yep.
Big names should remove themselves from Facebook to make a point, and that would actually make a dent. Like, media would report on that, and Facebook would care that they're not getting the engagement from those groups.
Yep.
No one fucking cares if we're on Facebook or not.
And so our removal of ourselves from those platforms would not impact the platforms at all. And in the case of Facebook, there are 3,204 people in our Facebook community group. Those people would be deprived of a place where community happens at a time when we need community.
Yeah.
So now that feels a little bit like, I don't know, vegans setting up a community at a steak store.
Yeah. That was good. I liked that metaphor.
But I think we're going to stay there, if only because I don't want to learn a new place to stream our live shows.
You don't have to have a Facebook account to watch our live streams.
That's true.
So that's good. And if you want, someone linked to our Discord group, as you know, people were like, had a discussion about like, are we going to stay on this platform, whatever. If you want a place to go, we have a Discord if you're getting off Facebook and still want our community. Yep.
And our Discord server is linked from our contact page?
Yep.
Okay, great. Because the only way... You have to go to Facebook to get the link.
No, you can go to gayishpodcast.com/contact.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great. News the second.
Great.
This is the longest news segment ever, Kyle.
So good.
Those pills will kick in any moment, except they won't work because I'm doing keto. Great. News the second.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything's bad.
Okay.
And you should feel bad. I fucking said it. I said it 100 times, and lots of dickbag fuckface assholes, some of whom I'm related to, said, no, it's never going to happen. Idaho Republican legislators have formally introduced a resolution asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell v. Hodges, the 2015 decision that established marriage equality nationwide. They're going after gay marriage. They're starting now.
They said it. They said we're like in their whatever it's called, their bylaws, or you know, whatever they're signing up for. To like, they have always said marriage is between a man and a woman, and like
right there in the platform.
In the platform.
And you don't have to be an asshole to vote for a Republican, but you do have to be okay with Republicans being assholes.
Yep, absolutely.
You're in the same boat with them. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because Clarence Thomas, one of the Supreme Court justices and a dickbag fuckface asshole himself in his own right, has indicated that Obergefell v. Hodges isn't correctly decided. So 1 down, 8 to go on getting it overturned. And maybe now the Turgs will start paying attention, which that's trans exclusionary radical gays.
Yep.
Mostly white people, mostly white cis dudes that happen to be gay, who buried their head in the sand when it came to trans rights. Now, like, maybe you'll start fucking listening. That shit is fucked and is going to continue to be fucked. I wish that maybe you'd started paying attention and not being an asshole sooner.
Yeah.
So get your shit together, white gays.
Yeah. A lot of people have been rushing to get married. Brian Sims and Alex just got married.
Yeah.
Congrats on that, to them on that. That's very exciting.
And so did Mike Covington and Dusty Sands.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird, bittersweet kind of marriage that is one that is faster than expected due to the possibility of losing the right to get married. Like, it's a fucked up reason, but it's still a happy celebration. It's weird feelings involved.
Yep, absolutely. Also, people have said, didn't we codify gay marriage at the federal level during the Biden administration? And there's a yes, but there. Yes, we did. It is not like if Obergefell v. Hodges gets overturned that you will suddenly not be married in Texas or these other fucking fucked up places. They will still be forced to recognize your marriage because of bills that were passed in Congress over the last couple of years. But states will be allowed to start not letting people get married. So people will then have to, same-sex couples will have to go to California or Washington or another place that doesn't suck to get married because their home states will now be allowed to not let them get married in the first place.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Which is fucked up. Everything's bad and you should feel bad. I don't know, Kyle. I like everything's so fucked lately. I fully expect gay marriage to just not be a thing anymore for a while. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Yeah. News the last. This was the happiest thing that I could come up with this week. Anita Bryant is dead.
Yes. Okay. This is a great news story. This is very happy. I think we should all rejoice. This goes back to like, should you celebrate death? And you are on the side of yes, celebrate it. I'm on the side.
Wish for it before they're even dead. Okay. It's okay to say they should be dead. Clarence Thomas should be dead.
I am on the side of I don't wish anyone death. Or
You're
that
so wrong.
That's fine. Or the number of people that I wish dead are so small and few and far between. But I'm not going to expend any energy mourning these losses or pretend like we can't explain how shitty they were as a person.
Yep. Well, if you don't know who Anita Bryant is, chillins, she was an American singer and Christian activist against gay rights. She was Miss Oklahoma in 1958, which led to her being a brand ambassador for the Florida Citrus Commission. And for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, while she was working with the Florida Citrus Commission, Miami-Dade County, Florida, made a law that outlawed discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Basically, don't discriminate against gays. And that made her start the Save Our Children campaign, because it's always about the fucking children. Mm-hmm. And she just was a dickbag, fuckface, asshole emeritus.
Oh, yeah. She gets the Lifetime Achievement Award.
We should give that the dickbag, fuckface, asshole Lifetime Achievement Award, Kyle.
Every year that means you and I get to just sit down and decide who we want, just like the fucking Golden Globes.
Yep.
She could be this year's.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that.
You just have to die and then you can get an award. She also famously was hit in the face with a pie on television in 1977 by a gay activist named Tom Higgins when she was in Des Moines, Iowa. Derek's from Iowa.
Cool.
Anyway, Anita Bryant is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. That's it.
Fuck you and go to hell.
Fuck you and go to hell.
Yeah.
That's the news.
Speaking of people we want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Because they support us. They've done all the good in the world that they need to do by supporting us.
People we hope get cream pied in a good way.
I want to thank the following new Patreon members: James Wellick.
Wellick,
yeah. Wellock, if you want to break it down to its
I was
roots.
hoping it was lick. Like licked well.
Well, lick me well, James. Pup Cobalt.
Okay.
Woof, or whatever. And Ren H.
Ren?
Yep.
Ren H.
Ren H. Protecting that last name. That's smart. You don't want to get too public on this podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone will know who you are.
Eventually, the government's going to round us all up and we'll have a gayish island.
They'll just listen to all the Patreon member names and know who all the gays are. Thanks also to our straight supporters. We like you too.
There's a couple.
If you want ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to use Mike's hole,
use my hole.
If you want bonus episodes, we have over 60 of them. If you're starving for new gayish content, go to patreon.com/gayish podcast.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about Sniffies?
Do I?
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. First we need to talk about how severely you were destroyed in the poll.
Yeah. Apparently nobody likes hot dogs. Fine.
I put up the topics, Sniffies, which won. Actually, Sniffies and Colts tied on the main poll, which is why we have a tiebreaker poll. Yeah. And on the tiebreaker poll, Sniffies won. It had 53% of the tiebreaker vote. So tiebreakers, your vote matters.
Yep.
It helps determine what topic we do and oftentimes the bonus episode as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, you got dead last.
Yep. I got hot dogged.
You got sandwiched in that dead last position, and I won, and I'm the best.
Yeah. I'm glad. If this is all that you need for validation in your life, Kyle,
I need so much validation in every single way. This is just a drop in the bucket of the validation needs that I have.
Okay. Well,
Give me validation, everybody.
okay. You can probably get validated on Sniffies. I think there's a filter for that.
Oh, well, or you can also feel real shitty about yourself.
Oh, well, okay.
It goes both ways.
I'm going to talk to you about the history of Sniffies, Kyle.
Okay.
Do you know where Sniffies got started?
Yeah, I do, just because I read it when I was researching this.
Well, Sniffies was launched in 2018 by Seattle native and founder Blake Gallagher.
We maybe could have reached out to him to see if...
I don't know.
Oh, well.
He's probably busy.
Probably busy
Sniffing.
just sniffing away.
But the name Sniffies came from an earlier website that was used for trading underwear.
Yeah.
Used underwear.
Yeah, I only learned about that because I read the Wikipedia page.
Which I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, Kyle. I just, raunch is not for me.
Yeah.
I know that lots and lots of people are into it. They're into like man smells and musk and stinky feet. Like they're like, that is totally a thing. It is just not my thing.
You like underwear though, right?
I love underwear, but I want them to be clean and shiny.
Yep.
But literally shiny. I have a thing for shiny underwear. It's weird.
It's not weird, Mike.
But I want...
Don't yuck your own yum.
Well, therapy's on Mondays. But yeah, raunch is not for me.
Yeah.
But anybody who thinks like, oh, Sniffies, that probably is a raunch thing, that is where it got its start.
Yeah. Do you know what they say now about why it's called Sniffies?
Yeah.
Oh, do you already have that?
Well, no, go ahead. You say it.
Because its marketing officer says now it refers to sniffing what's around or sniffing out the fun.
I don't think that's better. I don't think...
They just had to backdoor into why it's called Sniffies, even though I think the name was just so compelling that they kept it around, which I think it's a great name. I think it's catchy. I think it makes you ask, why is it called Sniffies? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it gives me an air of hookups, even though it technically doesn't explicitly state it's a hookup thing. Like, it gives me some kind of dirty, hot, sweaty vibes.
You kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Which, so really of the big ones that are out there, the one that is named least well is Grindr, I think. Which even that, like, you're going to grind on each other. So
yeah.
Like, and Scruff, it used to be you knew what you're going to get there too, is hair, right?
Yeah. We haven't, should we do what is Sniffies?
What is Sniffies, Kyle?
What is Sniffies? Sniffies is a web-based, it's not an app. It's not allowed to be an app. It's a web-based platform. It's just a website that you log in and are able to see on a map where cruisers, other people are near you.
It's like Pokemon Go for buttholes.
That's what... That's what them.us. I have a whole section on, I might not even need to do it now. On them.us, they say Sniffies is a website with a map-based interface that you can use to find hot people, mostly men, in your area. In short, it's kind of like Pokemon Go, but for dick and hole.
Great. Great.
So unlike Grindr, where Grindr says, here's how far away you are from someone, but you don't know where physically they are. This is a literal map of your city, and it shows on the map where that person is located. It helps you find not only other people, because people can host or travel and all that, but it also shows you cruising spots like parks or bathrooms, and it shows how many people are there at that cruising spot. So that's what Sniffies is.
I don't know why it seems so dangerous, but it really does.
Why does it seem dangerous?
I don't know. Like, okay. Here's the thing. There are lots of millennials and even more Gen Z folks, like my boyfriend, for instance, who constantly have their friends' locations on their phones.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which I suppose is some sort of weird digital safety that I just don't understand or adhere to. I'm just old school. I'm Gen X. Like, I don't need anybody to know exactly where I am, and that's the whole point of this platform.
Yeah. You can skew your location, so it may not give your precise location. You can skew it and you can adjust how far away, how much the location is skewed. So it's not giving out your precise location. It is putting you somewhere in the vicinity of where you actually are. So that's their kind of safety measurement. I
think location services primarily come from GPS, and like the most like precise that it can get is like 3 feet or something.
Yeah.
Which you and Derek are 3 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how far does that slider go. Anyway, it's fine.
I don't know. I could open it up. It is a serious competitor to Grindr. It is now amongst the, like you mentioned, it's one of the things in the list. There's Sniffies, there's Grindr, there's Scruff.
Well, and Grindr, I don't know what used to be the case. Oh, I wanted to say this up front.
Yeah.
So I started a Sniffies profile, which we're going to talk more about that later. And I'm on Grindr and I'm on Scruff, and I just want everybody to know that I'm in an open relationship and that's okay.
Oh.
Like that's in bounds. That's,
right.
So, but Grindr, you can't just like have your profile picture be your whole.
Right.
Sniffies, you sure can.
Oh yeah, you can.
But like Grindr's sort of tried to, I think, have, despite its reputation, which is well earned, be like kind of on the up and up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say, what's the word, Kyle?
I don't know.
Not like respectable.
Like classy?
Classy. But like you can't have like nudity. You can't have
trying to clean it up and keep it
like
PG
when you're looking at the grid that you already talked about how the grid works. It's like sorted by distance. Like it's going to be either no picture at all, or it's going to be a torso at most salacious.
Right.
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 There's not going to be penises or buttholes or whatever.
Another thing that someone has said about in describing trying to compare the two is Eli Martin, Chief Marketing Officer, said, this is from The Democratic Potential of Cruising by Jack Parlett, an article that I skimmed. But the part that mentions Sniffy says, while apps like Grindr have been created for hooking up, they have come to be used for other purposes. As Eli Martin, Chief Marketing Officer for the hookup site Sniffies puts it, quote, Grindr's really become like Facebook. It's like you can go there and you can find anything. You can find a boyfriend. You can maybe sell a car. Who knows? Find your best friend. End quote. Within this ecology of hookup apps, Sniffy seeks to fulfill a super specific function of facilitating more or less instantaneous hookups. That's at least what the Chief Marketing Officer of Sniffies views as the difference between Grindr and Sniffies. Do you agree with that assessment of Grindr?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about buying a car. That's weird. But like
every now and then you see someone like need an apartment to stay at or trying to find a job. Like,
yeah,
there are,
yeah. That's
some people really do use it for friends or for networking or for talking to, like, just texting their friends.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I block all my friends. I don't want my friends seeing me on Grindr or Sniffies.
Yeah.
This is not for you.
This is not for.
That does not serve that purpose.
Derek, is it okay if I say this? Derek and I chat on Grindr.
That's weird.
I kind of thought so at first too, but he didn't work here yet, and but I was like, okay, I'll try just having a casual social relationship with somebody on Grindr, and here we are. Like,
I think that's really weird. I need to remind myself that it's just how I use it, not how everyone needs to use it. Like when I'm in hookup mode, I don't want my friends seeing that. And I don't share the hookup part of my life outside of, like, with my friends.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing about us is the same. This not mixing friendship with fucking too much.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't bang any of our friends, and you don't either, as far as I know. And, so that in that we are the same. I think when I am trying to figure out how much to block myself online or filter what I say or do online, it's a weird game because you might be friends with somebody later,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm saying.
Which is why you initially talked to Derek, because he was not an employee and he was just a person on Grindr.
Yeah, and now we have HR conversations on there sometimes. But
see, that is where I would like, once that started, I would immediately block him.
Oh, yeah.
And move to other places to have those conversations.
Okay.
I think that's maybe where we're a little different.
Yeah.
I feel like
what we're dancing around here, though, is that like for a lot of people, Grindr is a purely social thing. It is not like, despite all of the like, are you a top or a bottom as one of the fields to fill out on your profile, it is for a lot of people non-sexual. It's just like like chat or like who's in the bar? Do I know them?
Yeah.
People use the proximity thing for that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I understand the discomfort because it definitely started as like what Sniffies has turned into, which is like fucking now.
Let's hook up. It's really funny. I was just telling a straight person about Sniffies, saying like, oh, it's really geared towards hookups. And someone was like, isn't that Grindr? And it's like, oh, you'll have no idea. Like to them, Tinder's hookups.
Yep.
Like to straight people, Tinder's the sluttiest one, which is really funny to me because that's our dating one. That's our classy dating, I want to go on a date with you one. And that's their sluttiest option.
Yeah.
Boy, we have such different options when it comes to dating profiles.
Did you see that faggot on Jeopardy that answered
Yes.
what is Tinder but spelled it like
Spelled it
Grindr?
with no E.
So fucking good.
Outed himself. I don't know if he's out or not, but definitely outed himself by that spelling.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight people are obsessed with Grindr.
Yeah.
They really are. Like, and I think that's fantastic.
It's one of those, I feel uncomfortable if straight people try to talk to me about, or like maybe like in the workplace. I would talk to my friends about it, but like it is not a workplace appropriate topic to bring up people's Grindr account. Like, do you have Grindr? Yeah. Oh, do you use it? Like that in a previous job I had, that came up. And I think that was highly inappropriate to ask about. It's like, oh, do you fuck people? Like, can I ask you that? How do you hook up? Where do you find people to fuck? Like, I just... Now my team is a little bit more personal, so that would be a topic of conversation easily. But
and gay,
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Also, we're not getting paid by Sniffies, everybody. This is like I'm realizing that the whole episode kind of sounds like a big ad for Sniffies.
Oh God, I wish Sniffies would retroactively pay us for this because it is like a big marketing.
We should have gotten a hold of Blake Gallagher of Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, yeah, pay us, give us money, bitch.
Yeah. And actually, if he finds out about this and wants to come on the show, I would totally have him on the show.
Yeah.
What was I going to talk to you about, Kyle? Is it my turn? Do you want to talk?
Were you still on the history? We kind of diverged in the woods. So.
It's fine. This is how my brain works today.
Great.
The last history thing, and then we can I'll move on to something else. There are a lot of people who Sniffies was launched in 2018. But a lot of people think that the reason for the success of the platform is actually the pandemic. That's creepy. That Grindr and Scruff and the other options that are out there, because they are sort of more social and less now anonymous, like hook up as quickly as possible, that the pandemic led people to sort of hide the fact that they were hooking up more and move to that platform because there's greater sense of anonymity and immediacy on it.
Yeah, which that's wild. That's a kind of really sad statement on our community, if true.
Yeah.
Because...
And I know that there were people that were hooking up during the pandemic.
Were you?
No, God, no.
I was not. I had to I felt like break the rules and go hang out with you once because I was like, I am in a mental health downward spiral and need this.
Yeah.
And that was like the one time I broke the kind of rule about. Yep.
Same. And we talked about it. That was an episode.
Yeah.
And
how are you doing or something like that?
Yeah. That was not a good episode, but it sticks out.
Yeah. For sure.
So I wanted to talk to you about the pop star Jordy.
I love Jordy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about Jordy.
Jordy is a gay pop star. I think he was nominated for the GLAAD, GLAAD pop star something. I don't know. He was nominated for some kind of GLAAD thing. His music is just gay and poppy, and it's one of the few, like, most of my pop interests are female pop artists, and he's one of the few males that breaks through, and I also like him.
Do you have a favorite song?
Yes.
Excellent. Great. This is good.
Good conversation. What's it called? He has an EP called Psycho, and the song Psycho on it is my favorite.
Okay. Well, I do not listen to...
No, Just Give Me a Minute is my favorite one. Sorry.
Just Give Me a Minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so the reason I'm going to talk... I don't listen to him. I might now because of just the research for the... It was like catchy, but I wasn't like hooked, but whatever. In 2024, so just last year, he released a new album called Sex with Myself.
Yeah.
Some of the song titles from Sex with Myself include Cruise, Men, Can You Host? And in an interview, he said that a lot of that album was inspired by his experiences on Sniffies.
No way. I mean, it makes sense. It is very sexual and very, it's his slut pop, his version of slut pop.
Yeah.
It's like very much like we're talking about fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking dudes.
Yeah. I didn't realize that he'd been around for so long. So his real name is Jordan Schulman, and he's from Northbrook, Illinois. And apparently his grandfather is like a famous educational psychologist named Lee Schulman. Sure. But he went to Boston University. But he released a song called Be With Me in 2018. So he's been, in the business for a while. And but talking about, he's like carved this niche for himself of being like, he's not insta-gay hot.
Right.
He's very attractive, and especially to, like, he's the type that some people are into.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And but then also to make like his queerness and his sexuality such a part of his artistry is really interesting.
Yeah.
But about this album, Sex with Myself, he said, quote, "It's been so liberating. I just feel hot, horny, and excited. I feel truly free. I feel really comfortable in my skin right now, and I wanted to make sure everyone felt represented." And he said that that Sniffies hookups inspired some of the songs, and that his sexiest fantasies and real life adventures, including Sniffies, inspired all of the songs on the album. I say, quote, "I've cruised in my day. These are absolutely based on real desires and fantasies. It's really cool when you meet a stranger and end up having insane chemistry. There's nothing like it. Just being real." So I was reading through some of the lyrics to some of the songs that are on the album, and "Can You Host?" is interesting. I wanted to read some of the lyrics.
Oh, sure.
So, "My roommate's going to kill me and having too much fun. I really should move out of the house, but with that look you give me and what your hands are saying, I can tell you're going to be loud." It's, "Can you host? Let me know. Is there somewhere we can go? Can we leave? Hit the streets? Got a place where we can meet? Get a room, me and you. Find a friend and bring him too. Can you host? Let me know. If you can, then babe, let's go." And it's so funny. All of these platforms that we're talking about, the like host or travel is like one of the first things you have to iron out.
It's a clutch detail that, and this is like top and bottom, like you got to figure out if you're compatible in that way. Like you also got to figure out if you're compatible hosting traveling. Like if you both host, then that's shitty. Like and only host, then that may be a no-fly zone immediately.
I also see quite often like can't host, must travel, cars are okay. Like apparently people are just hooking up in parked cars.
Well, sometimes I see people saying like no car, can't host, and you're like, what's your plan? How do you plan on arriving to a location? Like, what other option is there? Like,
I mean, I have had somebody say that they wanted me to pay for their Uber, which I was like, no.
You got to be pretty hot. Yeah.
But, yeah. Also, that's inconvenient but clear.
Yeah, inconvenient but clear. That's true. Some profiles are very much inconvenient but clear.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Jordy.
Okay.
And the whole album apparently that Sniffies had to roll in.
He got, I think, TikTok viral for. He did a remake of "This Is the Story of a Girl Who Cried a River and Drowned." He said, "This is the story of a boy."
Great.
And so what trans people started doing is showing their before and after pictures and showing like them presenting female.
Oh, that's great.
And saying, "This is the story of a girl," and then cut to their current look and then saying, "This is the story of a boy."
I love that.
Yeah, it was adorable.
Yeah.
And he like saw that and was like, I know he was very flattered by all the people posting his song in that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jordy.
Yeah.
Also, it's Jordy, you Star Trek nerds who think it's Geordie LaForge.
Oh, I wouldn't have even made that connection.
Well, that's because we're different people, Kyle.
If there's one thing you've learned from this podcast is that we are different people for surezies. Okay, I'm going to talk about some data that Sniffies themselves released. Okay. This is their 2023 download.
Okay.
Which is down.
Spell load?
Exactly. Okay, so this is some of the data they released from their platform. And I don't have too much info on like how they actually calculated some of this stuff. So we don't ask. Just don't ask.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
But don't though.
But I mean, I'll probably forget and ask momentarily.
Horniest city.
San Francisco.
Not on the list.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Number 5 is Atlanta.
We're going to Atlanta for the book tour, everybody.
There's a few that we're going to that are on this list.
Well, magical.
I know. This is based on highest number of sessions based on geographic area. Number 5 is Atlanta.
But not necessarily per capita?
I don't know.
Damn it, I fucked it up already.
I know. That was my same question. Is this just the highest number of people in a city?
Like New York then? Is New York number 1?
New York is number 2.
Okay, well.
So it might be per capita? I don't know.
New York, Chicago, LA, is that the top 3?
Yes. Number 4 is Chicago. 3 is Dallas.
Dallas?
Number 2 is New York. Number 1 is LA.
Okay. Which we learned last week in the news, all bottoms.
Yeah. We learned this is very much in that same vein of like we used our hookup data to tell you some information. Horniest country based on highest number of sessions based on geographic area. The US is not in this list.
The UK?
The UK is number 1.
Yeah, those horny uncut chavs.
I'll give you a hint about number 2. There is a Discord section dedicated to them.
Canada?
Yep.
Wow.
Number 2.
Okay.
Maybe we should have put them on our tour stop.
Maybe, but they don't deserve it yet.
Yeah, they got to earn it. Number 3 is Australia. Number 4 is Ireland, and number 5 is Mexico.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say until you rounded out the end there that like they were all English speaking countries, which I don't know what that says.
I mean, maybe just the app is or the website is more geared towards English speaking, because it's created in the US maybe. So
yeah, what's French for sniffies? Sniffies.
Les sniffies. Les sniffers.
It's pronounced the same, but it's got like 4 E's and a Z.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. MVK, most valuable kinks. This is the highest reported kinks in profiles on Sniffies.
Is it raunch?
No.
Feet?
No.
Ropes?
No.
Well, so I'm going to talk about. I set up a profile for the first time.
Yeah.
I'd used Sniffies like anonymously before just to be like certain that it wasn't for me. But I was surprised at the things that were listed and the things that weren't that they labeled as kinks in the profile editor. But anyway,
I haven't mentioned I use Sniffies regularly, like probably more than Grindr. It's probably my go-to kind of hookup spot. So I'm a frequent Sniffies user. Yeah, which is part of why I put on the list.
I mean, sometimes while we're hanging out and you're like, I gotta go.
Yep. Because you're in a different area, so there are different people around. Yeah. So it's always fun to find the new people.
Being fresh meat is fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 5, facials.
Okay. See our episode on Bukkake.
Yeah. Number 4, groups.
Oh, well, okay.
It
does seem like that's what way more of a thing that this platform is geared for. Like it's Scruff and Grindr. The other ones that I've used like is not a like 20-person gangbang organizational tool.
I will jump ahead and just tell you the largest single group that Sniffies recorded is 204 cruisers in Boston.
Fuck. My goodness. I mean, literally fuck, but like,
Yeah.
wow, good for you, Boston.
I mean, I would love to fuck 200 people in a night.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Would you? That seems like
Maybe 100. Maybe after 100, I'm good.
it just seems like you would need to moisturize.
You go through an entire thing of lube. My Crisco butter is all gone. Now what do we use? So much spit.
Need a Costco tub of coconut oil.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3 is cum play.
Snowballing?
I mean, that's one thing that you can do with cum. I mean, facials are kind of like, feel like cum play, but like people like cummy holes. There's...
The thing with cum, Kyle.
What is the thing about cum, Mike?
When I have made some, I'm done for a while. Like, I don't want to put it anywhere else or like
Cum and done.
there are people who are super into cum, and I get that. And just like, you can enjoy that on your own time, I guess. I don't know. Like, once I've contributed, I'm out.
I've like had a guy give me a facial and then he left, and I like the entire time he was getting dressed and leaving, I just like kept the facial there.
Okay, great.
It was hot. Number 2 is porn.
Porn. That's
And-
not a kink.
Some of these, like, is group a kink? I guess so. I don't know.
I think group is. It's easier to argue that group is a kink than porn. Porn is just Tuesday. Like,
But like, there's some. I mean, there can be kinks around like someone watching porn while the other person is blowing them, or like watching porn together, or you know. And number 1 is edging.
oh, okay, yeah. I didn't realize that like there are people who don't know what that is.
Oh,
or don't like it, or don't do it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think delayed orgasm is fantastic.
yeah. Because then you don't come, and then you go on for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next is most discreet city. The highest number of discreet sessions. Discreet EET.
Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Yeah,
No.
fucking Mormons.
Vancouver, BC.
Canada, get your shit together.
Yeah. Why are they so... In Canadians only, let us know. Why is Vancouver so discreet?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Favorite places to cruise? Do you have guesses?
Parks.
Parks is number 1. Number
Great.
1 answer. Number 1 on the list.
Walmart parking lot.
Parking lots are not on the... nor is Walmart.
Public restrooms.
Restrooms is number 2.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe I do know what I'm talking about.
Maybe you do. Number 5 is university. Just, I guess,
Weird.
on campus. Yeah. Number 4 is gym.
Okay.
Number 3 is residential tower.
Hold up.
What?
People are fucking at the gym.
Oh, Michael Johnson. Maybe you don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
know what's going on.
Gyms. There's a gym a block away from me, which I always try to take advantage of. Like, oh, you're at the gym and on Sniffies. Like, I'm a block away from the gym.
But that's not in the gym, or do you go in the gym?
No. I don't go in the gym, but people do. There are like more cruisy gyms out there.
Okay.
Number 3 is residential tower. I don't know what that means, really.
Eiffel Tower?
Oh, hi. No. 2 is restrooms. 1 is park.
Okay.
Now we get to positions.
Oh.
The highest reported positions in profiles on Sniffies. Number 5 is verse top at 10%.
Okay.
Number 4 is verse bottom at 13.6%.
AKA bottom.
So many people, like, sometimes I reach out and they're like, oh, sorry, I'm a bottom. It's like, you have verse bottom listed in your profile. So are you actually verse or not? That's one of my frustrations.
I mean, verse bottom, verse and verse top, I all assume are actually looking to bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Verse
Seems to
top,
be the
I
case.
don't.
Okay, well.
Number 3 is bottom at 15.1%. Number 2 is top at 15.7%.
Okay.
So they're almost equal bottoms and tops.
Yeah, top is not at the top. Just
Number
straight up
1
verse?
is verse.
Great.
Just verse at 25.6%. So far and away, 10 percentage points ahead of the next highest position.
I don't think side is an option though, and I think that
they added it.
Did they?
I don't remember.
Because I do think that there's a lot of people who, if side isn't an option, will put verse because they are like, that's neither top nor bottom. It's something else, so that's the option that they go with.
Yeah, and I see in people's descriptions like interested in side play.
Yeah.
Let's see. The average reported dick size.
Oh, 7.5.
No, not. And I don't get this. They have two different numbers. One for cruisers and one for global users. I don't get the difference between cruisers and users.
It rhymes.
It rhymes. Anyway, so for cruisers, it's 6.67 inches.
Great.
And for global users, it's 5.1 inches.
Which is closer to the truth.
Closer to the truth, for sure. Average dick size is, everyone assumes it's 6 inches. It is not. It is closer to 5.
Closer to 5.
Day of the week.
If you're like using real inches.
Yeah, not gay inches. Which,
internet inches.
Best day of the week for hooking up.
Tuesday.
Monday.
Oh, okay.
I don't get why. I would think it would be Friday or Saturday.
Because you had church on Sunday and you got all clean and now you've got to fuck that up.
Yeah, you got to wash that holy water off with some bukkake shit. Sexual orientation. Based on reported sexual orientations in Sniffies, this year, 2023, had a 290% growth in straight curious users on the app.
Okay.
So there's straight curious, there's bi curious, there's gay bi, there's apparently some other site told me that based on Sniffies data, 50% of Sniffies users identified as bi or bi curious and 33% identified as gay. So that leaves a decent number that are identified as something else, and straight or straight curious is one of those options.
Wild. Okay.
Lastly, the most photogenic city, meaning they sent the most photos. So that's not necessarily photogenic, but that's how they interpreted. So sent the most photos is Seattle.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
We send photos, I guess.
Okay. I think that kind of checks out, actually.
Yeah?
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. That's some Sniffies data.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
How does that jive with your experience?
Well, a lot of them are like about different cities. So that part I can't compare. I've never used it in a different city. Some of the kinks, edging porn, come play groups, facials, I see those. So I get that. Hookup places, I get park. I've been to the park to cruise, so that aligns with my personal experience. Yeah, I think a lot of it made sense to me.
Okay. So for the Patreon segment, I'm going to talk to you about vanilla mode.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that they added last year. And go through this funny article of 9 funny situations when gays should activate vanilla mode.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be the Patreon segment. But I also wanted to talk to you about this TikToker.
Yeah.
So this is from last January, so almost a year ago. And it was on pride.com that I found this article. But there's a TikToker named Mizdy Living, MizDeeLiving. And but apparently her apartment building is a hotspot for Sniffies users.
Wow.
And 4 different dudes mistakenly showed up at her apartment for a hookup over the course of 2 days. So she started filming it on TikTok. So
oh my God.
She has these TikTok
That's
clips.
horrifying. The idea that I would get blasted publicly for showing up to a hookup is like, I told you, like I separate these parts of my life, and that would be like the worst thing.
Well, and it's just their voice. Like there's nothing that would identify them because
that's good.
She like is just filming herself at her front door talking to these dudes who have shown up. So this is funny. So she's been keeping viewers enthralled with the saga that started out with something as simple as an Amazon delivery driver knocked on her door. But rather than delivering a package, it seems he was there to, well, deliver a package. So all she knew was that the driver showed up at the wrong address on his lunch break. Then a second guy came So she set up her camera to record her side of the interaction, realizing that something weird was going on. And the second man was much more forthcoming with information. Quote, "This place is called Sniffies. He showed me the app," she told viewers, referring to a cruising app for queer and curious men. She says he even showed her the profile of the person who sent him there, although it didn't answer any further questions she had.
Wow, so someone's like posting to come there, like someone's blowing up her spot on purpose. That's real shitty.
By the end of the day, a third man had shown up, and she was able to turn him away much more quickly now that she had some idea of what was happening. So she started doing her own research and set up a Sniffies profile.
Yeah.
So this is all on her TikTok, and trying to sniff out more information. Quote, "When I went on the app and started to try to find the person near me that was luring people to her apartment, the bubble disappeared."
Oh, they blocked her.
Her theory is that it had to actually be someone in her building who had set this up and possibly entered her apartment number on accident. I think she's being sort of
very gracious
with that. As it requires a code to get into the building at all.
Oh, so they would have to know the code to give to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She has been working with her leasing office to try to determine who's getting their wires crossed so they can set things straight, so to speak. She also invested in a Ring camera. And because a fourth man showed up and tried to open her door.
Oh, Jesus.
Quote,
sometimes you do like come on in. Like sometimes people try to walk right on in.
Yeah. And that's like a whole vibe too of like, I'm ass up, just come in.
Yeah.
Come and go.
Yeah.
Spell come. Quote, "I found out that this area is a hot spot," she said. "They love it over here." So one person on TikTok was just like, "You just need to put a sign on your door saying no sniffies here."
Right.
And maybe.
Yeah. That seems like a good solution.
Yeah.
This is the wrong location. I did see once, and I think I posted it to my personal Instagram of, there was on the bathroom of a bar that we went to. What bar was it? Where were we? I don't remember. Maybe it was
it in Seattle?
Boise.
Oh, Boise. Okay.
Maybe. I don't. It was like, this is not a Sniffies hookup spot.
Yeah.
Please do not hook up here. Please, like, so it must have gotten marked as a cruising spot on Sniffies and had people like hooking up in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you're a gay bar with a bathroom, you might be a cruising spot.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hard thing to take back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, like, I guess you can ask nicely, but humans are going to human.
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me the places that dudes will fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also like part of why I find the whole platform terrifying, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, now that I have a house out in the burbs, it's probably pretty easy to figure out where I'm sniffing from if I'm logged in there and don't have my...
You don't skew your location.
Don't skew your location enough. And, like, so people could just, like, wander up and be like, there's a faggot in here. Here I go.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because I live in a condo, so you have to know the code and which apartment I'm in.
And we know there's gays in your building because you banged them sometimes.
Yeah, he moved away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
To, like somewhere else in Seattle or to another city?
No, somewhere else in Seattle.
Oh,
so we can still hook up.
You could still. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, so it's a little bit, I don't have the same challenges as you. Like, no one can just walk up to my door. They have to know they have to dial me and know my apartment number and everything.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Do you have more?
So we've been talking for, do you want to, I haven't asked Reddit, but I don't know. We can just skip that. Do you want to just jump to personal?
The personal stuff? Sure. I'm logging in right now.
Oh, you're logging in right now? Yeah. Maybe I'll tell on the Patreon segment, maybe I'll throw in, there are a couple from Reddit, some horror stories. Maybe I'll tell y'all some of those then. I don't
like horror stories.
None of them are too bad. There's nothing violent or wild like that. I think one of my worst experiences is I drove out to meet someone and my phone died while I was driving out there. Sniffies my battery life is not great, and Sniffies uses up a lot of my battery.
Even though it's just in a browser?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I now bring a portable charger with me wherever I go because my phone will probably die. I bring one when I come over here because I listen to podcasts all the way on the bus, and then I need to charge it up and then have enough battery life to listen to podcasts all the way home. So I need to get my battery replaced. But I went out to meet. So I drove, like, this is back when you could rent a car and, you know, take it wherever and park. And I rented a car, drove out, phone died. And it was like an apartment complex that you had to, you know, find building C, and then I'm in this door, and like once you get here, text me so I can tell you where to park. Like I did not have the location nailed down until I got there. So I just had to
abandon ship,
drive home. I went to a gas station to try to find a charger. It was
no dick is worth that.
I ended up investing way too much time in this situation than I should have. I don't know why I agreed to drive somewhere to hook up with this dude.
I mean, you know, sometimes the whole wants what it wants, Kyle.
Yeah. It has a mind of its own sometimes.
Undue influence. All right. So I started a Sniffies profile, Kyle.
Yeah.
And I just, because you had talked about the site and other people had talked about the site, I was like, you know, interested. So I used, you can use it anonymously. You don't have to have a profile, which that also is kind of scary when I think about it.
Yeah. You don't have to have a profile. You can just anonymous cruising is, I mean, that's part of their shtick is like, you can do anonymous cruising.
Yeah. And so I started a profile, and I was interested in some of the like questions that they asked, things about it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the questions that go into making an account, and how I feel about them.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so number one first question, which I thought was funny and telling about the platform. Hosting status.
Oh, this is after you enter your age. You got to enter your age.
That's the first thing on the profile editor.
Oh, on the profile editor. But you have to enter your age to get into this at all.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah.
I think you have to put in the year you were born.
I think that's true.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's true.
Okay.
So age. That's a thing.
Yep.
So far people have been like, okay, people don't talk on this platform.
Right.
And so the punchline here is Sniffies is not for me, which shouldn't be surprising unless you, like, I don't know how long ago we talked about all this stuff. There's a while when like Kyle was trying to convince me that I should identify as demisexual.
Yeah.
Because for me, anonymous just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And, but I still maintain that that's not because of desire, but because of a trauma response. I just know that I'm not going to have fun.
Right.
And I just need at least a conversation, some modicum of human connection before I'm going to be able to successfully have a sexual encounter with somebody. And anyway, this platform, it's hard to talk to people. It's like they actively are trying to make it difficult to chat with people. At least that's what it seems like so far.
Oh, really? Why is it?
Because there's like the one that's like a global group channel.
Oh yeah, the cruising. You can post cruising updates.
Which that's not a place to have a conversation.
Oh no.
And then the other thing is
so the global like kind of cruising channel is in your area. So for us, like in the Seattle area, people will post updates on like, hey, I'm hosting, or looking for a BWC to come fuck me good. Taken 5 loads already, looking for one more. Like people post cruising updates to everyone. Everyone can see those. You have to have a paid account in order to post there. So you can't just post willy-nilly. It's only paid people. But yeah, there is I think it's genius. There's a cruising section. So even if you're not chatting with anyone, you can read people's updates and comments and things they're looking for.
Well, a few seconds ago, someone posted, someone should set up a glory hole in the ESA hotel. I'd pull up with my 8-inch winky face. So wild. Okay, so back to my profile and editing it. I will probably delete this just to be honest, because I don't know. Height and weight. And then endowment, which that's not really a thing on Grindr or Scruff. Like people put it in their profile, but it's not like a piece of metadata about you that they're keeping. But like, are you cut or uncut? And then size. Those are the 2 questions under endowment. and then body type. And the body types were slim, fit, muscular, average, stocky, chubby, and large. And those are like, I don't know, not defined.
Yeah, there's some people that put muscular, and I'm like, I don't know that I might not describe you in that way, but everyone has their own definition of what it means.
Report it to a fact checker, Kyle. So sexuality, way more options than I thought. I guess, I know that bi people are real, but I did not expect to see straight curious, bi, and gay. But there is no gender marker, and there is no pronouns marker, which those are on some of the other hookup platforms. And this is definitely like, it implies to me that this is for cis dudes. End of list.
I've seen trans women on there and trans men.
Yeah.
I've seen trans people. Yeah.
Good to know.
Whenever I come across a trans woman, I automatically block them because I'm not interested in women. So I just try to clean up my map.
We talked about verse, we talked about position, but those options: side, submissive bottom, power bottom, verse top, passive top, dom top. Like, Jesus Christ, Kyle.
That's very helpful.
Side is an option, so I was wrong before. That is an option on there, which is great. I just made myself a side. I guess I'm fine with that. And then expression. Choose up to 2. Bear, biker, bro, clean cut, corporate, daddy, discreet, femme, gamer with a Y, geek, goth, guy next door, jock, leather, nudist, otter, pause, punk, pup, rugged, skater, sun, sporty, surfer, swinger, trans, trendy, trucker, twink, U+. What I don't understand is why limit that to 2? Because there are lots of ways that the Venn diagram of those things could come together. That 2, like, you could for sure have more than 2 of those be true about yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a lot of the things limit you to a certain number of selections on there. And it makes sense to me of trying to keep the profiles like toit, like kind of, you have to pick the top ones that apply to you. You can't pick every single option.
I'm not saying make it unlimited. I just think that at least 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe 4. I was only half serious when I went through here, but I chose Daddy and Guy Next Door.
Okay. I think I have Guy Next Door on mine. Should I be opening my profile?
Maybe if you want to.
Oh God. I didn't know I was going to reveal information about my Sniffies account.
Location is can host or can travel, which I don't know why there wouldn't be a third option of either one's fine with me.
I think you can select both.
You can select both.
Yeah, there you go. Man, I know so much about Sniffies.
Into public. And then if you are into public, then you choose the places that you're down with, which that is, you can select as many as you want to. But that tells me that is like what this platform is geared for is public stuff.
Yeah. And they have, so like, just like you have profiles, you can select a park will have a like little spot that you can click on and see all the people that have indicated that they are there at the park. So you can see there are 5 people at the park. Here's their profiles. And then you can add yourself to commit to like, I'm going to be there in 30 minutes. Or once you enter into that public cruising spot, it says, it now puts you in the list of here are the people that are at this cruising spot. So you can see who's actually cruising. Okay. Which this is, the only, like, I don't think cruise normally because I want to see someone's face. I know it doesn't, given I use Sniffies, that's a weird combination that sometimes is difficult, but I do want to see someone's face. I want to see you. So like anonymous cruising is not necessarily my jam, but if I can see that you're there at the park and I see your profile and we agree to meet up there, then I'm down for that.
It seems like most people have their picture on the map is their dick.
Yep.
But they will have a face pic in their profile, which that's funny to me.
Yeah. Or sometimes I have to request face pictures, and sometimes the conversation stops right there. I ask, early on, and in my profile is please send a face picture. And early on in the conversation, I won't go too long before you just kind of have to take a swing with a dick. You message a nice looking dick, and eventually I'll want to see your face picture, and I have no idea what you might look like. So a lot of conversations then either they don't want to send a face picture, so they just stop responding, or I get your face picture and I'm not into it, and I either have to let you know or just not respond to you, or it's a weird.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Like I've said this before. I'm fond of on the profiles or the apps using the phrase "Sorry, we're not a match."
I've done that too.
But that's a little harder to do when it's like face picture. Sorry, we're not a match.
I've done that to people. Oh, here's what I say: very cute, but not a match for me.
That's nice.
Yeah,
it's a lie.
It's a lie, but people have said that to me, and that made me feel better. Like, hey, I think you have a cute picture, and it's not a match for me.
So then the next field is looking for, which looks to me to be the same list, but this time you can choose up to 3. So you can only be 2 of them, but you can be looking for 3 of them. Let's see. Then fetishes.
Oh, there's a host of options here, right?
There's a host of options here. But there's 3 categories: body, clothing, and underwear. And there's so many, and you can choose up to 6. Which I like: armpits, ass, body hair, bulges, hard cocks, soft cocks, hung cocks, cum, facial hair, feet, hands, happy trails, long hair, muscles, musk, nipples, pecs, piercings, bush, shaved, trimmed, scars, spit, tattoos. Sweet Jesus, Kyle.
You can be looking for a lot.
You can be so specific.
Yep. Yeah.
But then also, I don't know. Anyway.
What? What's your qualm with this?
It would seem easier to say what you're not into, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Oh, I hate profiles that say like not into this. I mean, it does help. Like when they say like not into over 30 or whatever, I can be like, great. Now I know not to try, or like not into, certain things. So,
well, and also I don't think of like physical type as being fetish. I guess you could be fetishized if it's not their genitals or something. I've read that before. I don't know. Fetishes and kinks are interesting. The lines between them are interesting.
Yeah.
Clothing, there's a fuck ton of options. With that just says full on, like, if you want a backwards hat, Kyle, that's baseball caps.
One of my fetishes on my profile is baseball caps.
And then underwear, all of the different kinds of underwear. There's so many options here, all to just indicate like what fetishes you are into. Did I just change it? No. Okay. I'll come back to this, or I'll delete my thing. But then that's separate from kinks.
Yeah.
Which kinks are general and role play, and you can also choose up to 6. And that is like, this is an education. Basically, Derek, write all of these down that we don't have episodes for yet, because we should. BDSM, bondage and rope, chastity, CMNM, clothed male, nude male, cum play, edging, enemas, exhibitionism, facials, fisting, freeballing, fleshlights, gags and tape, gas masks, glory holes, group sex, humiliation, mirror play, pig play, porn, which I thought it said palm because my glasses, that says porn, sex toys, sex dolls, shaving, sounding, spanking, voyeurism, water sports, wedgies, whipping, and flogging. Wedgies? Mm-hmm. Wedgies are a kink?
Some people are into that.
Interesting.
Like getting bullied or wedgies, yeah.
And then lots of role play ones, one of which is superhero. Are you sure you shouldn't be on Sniffies, Derek? Including age play. Maybe I should put in age play. I'll call you daddy. I don't care. Or I'll let you call me daddy.
I think age play.
It's like pedophilia?
I don't know. I don't know. I fear. That's my fear, and I'm not sure what it is. Age play could. Maybe that is one of the things that falls within age play, but
okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And then that's also so fetishes and kinks, and then into you can choose up to 3, and they're all just like pretty basic things.
Things you can do sexually.
Things that you can do sexually, and then interaction, which is seems like social stuff. It's like it's a weird. I don't understand the category here of interaction. Anonymous, that makes sense. Blindfolded, great. I would think that would go into the one before. If you want to, anyway, I don't know. Bukkake, come and go. It's insane. It is a smorgasbord, Kyle. That's really where
a sexual smorgasbord.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
So yeah, and
not for me. Gonna delete it.
Yeah. It's a sea of dicks, and so it is hard to see people's faces. I have found that the way to make this work, because it can be very demoralizing if you're on here and just sit back and hope people reach out to you. Like, that's not going to work.
You've got to take the initiative.
I think you have to take the initiative, or what I've found is you got to take the initiative, and you can't get hung up on one person hoping that they reply. You got to spread your seed.
Cast a wide net.
Try a bunch of people. And one might respond to you out of all the people that you message, or at least that's how because I'm not there are some people that are probably different because they're jacked hot, they get tons of messages and don't need to do this, but I'm not one of those. I'm adequate. So I send a message to a ton of people, and then one will get back to me and maybe turn into something. So this can be a place, just like any app, where I struggle with body image on here because I see a bunch of giant dicks and hot insta gay quality people that then make me feel bad about myself.
Yeah, I get that. It's especially pointed because it's so much of it is nudity and about the currency of sex.
Yeah,
right?
it's if someone were, do you want to fuck me or not? Yeah. Is right away if people say want to or not, and that sucks. That can if a lot of people don't want to have sex with you.
There's a 30
sucks.
Dude pump and dump in progress.
Oh,
just at my grocery store.
Got
apparently.
It. At your grocery store. Wait,
that's the complex that my grocery store is in.
Interesting.
And the gym I was considering because it's close is apparently a hookup spot, and so is the park across the street, Kyle.
I mean, if you got a park, and if it gets to be night where you're at, then you got a potential cruising spot. I think
if you're in a place where the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Did we do it?
I don't know. Do you think that this is going to take over Grindr?
Well, or it already has, and Grindr will reinvent itself, or it is reinventing itself. I think it does feel like Grindr is what Sniffies was supposed to be. Other way around. Sniffies is what Grindr used to be,
yes,
or was supposed to be.
I completely agree,
and has taken that niche, and so now Grindr will be more about dating and buying couches or whatever the fuck we said.
Yeah, I do think that Sniffies fulfills the promise Grindr made, and
that's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. And I have only been back on Grindr for a year or something, and Grindr seems like if you don't pay for it, it makes itself very challenging to use. It really pushes you towards having a paid account, and otherwise you see the same 9 people at the top, and you can only message a handful of people that are close to you, that are closest to you, and I see the same group of people all the time, and every now and then it pops a new person in there, so that's cool. But it just seems like Grindr has made itself almost unusable with the fact that you have to pay for so many features. And Sniffies does have a paid option that you can use. It's very
expensive, by the way.
Oh, is it? I have never looked at it because I've never considered it.
Upgrade to unlock. A 1-week trial is $10.
Damn.
And then if you buy a 1 month at a time is $16 a month. You can get Disney Plus for that, I think.
Yeah, that's how much your streaming service costs. But yeah, I think Sniffies I think Grindr may have to make their free option a little bit more compelling to keep people on the platform and not have people bleed over to Sniffies. And Scruff has tried to create, I forget what it's called, BKDR, something like that. Like they tried to create a competitor to Sniffies.
Oh, backdoor.
Oh, I don't.
BKDR.
I don't know if that's actually. It's a 4-letter thing that they were like, come try this, and it's like on a map. And I looked at that on Sniffies and could not find. There was no one on the map. So I don't think it's successful. But
weird.
Yeah, I think people are worried about Sniffies taking their market share.
Well, I think that's already happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, find me on Sniffies. No.
I mean, they might.
They might.
You have to let me know if you ever get found on Sniffies by a listener.
Okay.
Because listeners reach out to me on Grindr and Scruff all the time.
Yeah.
Do they bother you as much as they used to bother you?
People do, I just had someone recently on Grindr like that was a listener and said they really liked the podcast, and that was very sweet. So I don't know.
Grindr is for social interactions or parasocial interactions.
Yeah. I mean, Sniffies is a little bit weirder because I'm like have more like kind of personal sexual interests that are not things that I share commonly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit raunchier on there, and I feel like I can be a little bit of a different person on there, and to like have that kind of other personality kind of exposed is a little bit weird to me.
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Sniff it out.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest, but first, hey.
I wanted, well,
what?
We have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
We have a lot to go over. But one thing I wanted to mention up top.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the show.
Yeah.
At the top of the bottom.
Yeah.
Is that friend of the show, Chris Cacciatorian.
Oh, yeah.
He has a wife.
Yeah.
And she and a friend are both lawyers. They release a podcast called Judgy McJudgerson.
Nice.
Where they read Reddit posts and then weigh in on what the answer is.
Okay.
So they've released their first couple episodes, so you can find it wherever you find podcasts. So,
nice.
Yeah. Just wanted to plug them.
Yeah. Plug it.
Plug it good. Judgy McJudgerson.
Okay, so a bunch of stuff.
A bunch of stuff that's going on for us.
So first of all, please come on our face. No, so January 21st is our live stream for the book release.
To celebrate our book release, we are doing a live stream.
Yes.
And recording a full episode.
Listen to Kyle. He's got it together today.
Yeah, we're doing a full episode on the live stream as a celebration for the fact that our book is being released on that day. So January 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific is when we'll be recording it.
Mm-hmm. Some people already have their books, which is weird because we don't.
Yeah, we don't have a book, but some people have gotten their books already. So order it and you may get it now in advance. If you want to order the book, you can go to gayishpodcast.com/book to get all the links on where you can find it.
Yep.
Or search for it on Amazon.
Now, at the same time, on that show, on January 21st, we will be announcing the links to purchase tickets for all of the cities that we're going to for our live show tour for the book. And that will be, I'm saying the dates of weekends. So it might be the day before, it might be the day after, but we will be in Atlanta, Georgia on the weekend of February 22nd, Chicago, Illinois on March 8th, Washington, D.C. March 22nd, San Francisco, California on April 5th, and Dallas, Texas on April the 19th. So if you are in any of those cities or near any of those cities or want to travel to any of those cities on those weekends, you can start penciling us in for that. But tickets will go on sale for all of those shows January the 21st.
Yeah.
Also, we are having a book release party for those of you who are in Seattle or near Seattle or want to travel to Seattle. And that is going to be on February the 8th.
Which is a Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, February the 8th at A/Stir on Capitol Hill. It used to be called Capitol Cider, if you're familiar with that location. And all of the details for that are going to be on Facebook as well, so you can do that. But we're going to do a reading, and there's going to be we're hoping everybody buys food and drink while they're there because they're kind enough to host us for this, and then we'll sign books and hang out, meet and greet, that kind of thing. So if you want to spend your Saturday with us in person in Seattle, that's a way to do it. February 8th, Easter.
Yeah. There's a lot going on to celebrate our book release.
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
We wrote a book, Kyle. It's fucking weird.
And it's in people's hands. People can now read it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's been so long in the making that it's weird that it's actually here.
And, yeah, it is. It's weird.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the very first chapter is You're Probably Crazy, which is on Facebook just recently announced that you're allowed to call gay people crazy. So if you want to learn more about the history of gay people being labeled as crazy and my own experiences being a crazy individual, you can read my chapter on that.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
And ironically, on the Sniffies episode, I wrote the chapter on being a slut. Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast. And if you want to download our Discord and get off Facebook, you can find our Discord link at gayishpodcast.com/contact.
I will also mention that I just today got a Gayish on Discord channel for the book.
Oh, cool. So if you want to talk about the book there, there's a good place to do it.
There's a You Are Probably Gayish channel now.
Sweet.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, especially if it's your Gayest Straightest. It's 585-5-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. I wonder if the post office is a Sniffies hookup spot.
Oh. I don't know that they'd have a good... I don't know. I kind of doubt it. It seems too formal.
You can pick up packages there.
Oh, and drop them off.
Yeah, I think they have a bathroom. Anyway, okay. Our Gayest Straightest?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
My gayest is my battery is always low. As I mentioned, I'm using Sniffies. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm playing my gaming app. And the joke is that bottoms always have low battery percentage.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Some stereotypes are true.
Some stereotypes are true. I think I've used this one before, but it was just so prevalent this week that I had to use it again.
Yeah, and if you really think it's Sniffies that's draining the battery, then it's topical.
Very topical. Untopical is the following. My straightest is I have a really old TV. I think I brought when I moved into my place. Had bought this TV from wherever I was and been using the same one. Gays are supposed to have all the latest gadgets and tech.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things that marketing people say about gays is they're always like hip to the new trends and all that shit.
Yep.
My TV is so fucking old.
If you want to, Kyle, I will take you to Costco and we can get a TV there.
The problem is, or it's not a problem because like my TV works fine. I don't need a new TV. This is like when people buy phones every 2 years. I'm like, my phone has been working fine.
He said right after the low battery thing.
Yeah, maybe not. I need to get the battery changed. But like the device itself is, in spite of a cracked screen, is
it even HD?
Usable. I don't know. I don't care about HD quality. I can barely tell what the resolution is.
I mean, there's like 8K coming out soon.
Yeah. Which I don't care about that shit. It doesn't matter. My TV works fine. I can watch TV on it.
That is straight.
Yeah.
Well, the gayest thing about me this week is I had lots of leftovers from the New Year's Eve party because I buy a bunch of stuff for New Year's Eve. And I was so proud of myself last night for finally finishing all the seltzers.
Oh.
I was like, there's a couple more. I'm going to drink them.
Yeah.
Hooray. I did it.
That's so much seltzer.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you had a lot left over.
Lots.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
And then the straightest thing about me this week is filling the Jeep with garbage.
Literal, right?
Literal garbage. I was just like, oh, here's a Jeep. I have a Jeep. I can haul stuff with it. There's a bunch of cardboard boxes. Threw them all in the Jeep and then didn't do anything with them yet.
Oh.
Anyway, I'll go.
Are you going to recycle them?
Yeah, recycling.
Okay.
Recycling's free. Did you know this?
I don't really know how I just know I put it in a room in our condo complex.
One time I went and they were like, you dropping off garbage? I was like, yep. They said, okay. And then went in there and threw away a bunch of stuff, some of which was recycling. And then when it came out, they're like, that'll be $35 for dropping all this shit off. And then the next time I went, I took a bunch of recycling and it was all just recycling. I'm like, no, this is just recycling. She's like, okay. And then I went in and I dropped it all off. And then when I was leaving, they were like, it's free.
Oh, where's that?
The transfer station.
Oh,
That's like where the garbage man takes your garbage. You can go there if you want to. If you
can
and just go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have some garbage I need to get rid of.
We have listeners, Gayest and Straightest. Who the
Yes.
fuck is this guy?
Yeah. This is Andrew from Rochester.
Andrew from Rochester.
Hey, Mike and Kyle. This is Andrew from Rochester. Had a great Gayish and Straightest this week. Gayish was getting a whole box of butt plugs and trying them all in the same evening. And my Straightest was fixing my kids' brakes. Love the podcast. You guys do a great job. Thanks. Keep doing what you do.
I love the unit of measurement of bucks to talk about butt plugs. That is the correct number of butt plugs that are needed.
A box
A box of butt plugs.
Yeah. Also, like, having kids could be your straightest,
Oh, that's true.
much less fixing their brakes.
Yeah.
But
And you used a box all in one night. That's an impressive amount of butt plugging that you did. You sure plugged away.
were they all for you?
It's all for you.
Or were they
you
like-
really want it.
Was this a group thing on Sniffies? And
Oh,
you
yeah. Everyone get a butt plug.
plugged all those holes.
Yeah. One of each size. It's the Goldilocks of butts. You had so many sizes you could hand out.
Oh my God. So thank you to Sniffies and
Yeah.
thank you to Blake Gallagher of Seattle, Washington for inventing it.
Yeah.
Call us.
You've helped me find my calling as a slut. I've said recently, like sometimes my gayest has been I've been real slutty.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of Sniffies.
Oh, it's magical.
Thanks, Sniffies.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The universe is right.
Yeah. And I want to thank our super gap bridges. Thank you to Locomotive, Simon Srirachi, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Yo Stossel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Just Jamie, Thomas B. Dusty, Sanzay Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
Pig. Like a truffle pig that sniffs sniffies. I don't know. Slut.
Whenever you cough, I got to decide how much of your laugh do I include and how much of your cough do I cut?
Yeah.
Because then it might sound like an abrupt ending to a laugh.
Yeah.
These are the decisions that I make when editing, Mike.
Great.
It's a challenging world out there.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we've
I'm
both-
sorry that my laughing is what makes me cough. So
Yeah. We've both been sick, so there's a lot of sniffles that I got to remove. Yeah.
don't remove them this episode.
Oh, because it's Sniffies. Ew. Number 3 is
I
us.
sound like Trump with a coke habit.